Hey everyone, it's now the middle of summer. We were here at this culvert. Somebody else has definitely unclogged it once since I was here, or else that pile would have been more overgrown with plants. So anyways, we noticed the road was washing out there. It's a lot worse now. It definitely has flooded over since the last time I was out here. It's probably been about a month. As you can see, there's barely any trickle because it's blocked on this side. The water is substantially lower than it was last time. Last time the water was right up to the road. We unclogged this culvert. It went whooshing through so fast. But then I decided to come out here the next day. And to my surprise, it only dropped 8 inches because the beavers completely jammed it up in less than 24 hours. This structure there was actually out of the water. I put it back in there, hoping it would get in their way. But as you can see, they shimmied it out and plugged the whole thing. So this culvert top is still open. They just care about stopping the flow. So if there was a big flood, it would start using this. But honestly, I think they need a bridge. This culvert will not be able to handle, especially the spring thaw or during a storm. Because right here, you can tell a ton of water goes washing across the street here. See the watermark? That's where it would be normally. It only has to go up like a foot before it starts crossing here. You can see all the sediment. Definitely washes into the woods here. They must have a lodge up there somewhere. Like here, you don't see any broken branches. You don't see any chewed marks. But they plug it up. We're not even going to bother unclogging it again because one day it'll be blocked again. It's completely useless. I think they need a bridge. I stopped right here because I'm wondering what's going on. There's at least one massive culvert here, and there's probably holes in it or something, or at least the water's getting between the culverts. This is a big sinkhole right here that they have marked. And also right here, there's a ton of sinking. It's not as bad as it looked in the car. I went over that, I think, slower than I had to. Right here, what am I seeing? There's at least 2 giant culverts. We're gonna go underneath here and see what's happening. Look at all this stuff. That was a giant clog. Over the top, that might be erosion because it was clogged and it started going over. But that's definitely a sinkhole. Something's happening underneath. Take a look at this massive clog they had to take out with an excavator. Oh, there's still a clog down there too. That probably happened afterwards. Let's see what's happening. Okay, there's 2 of them. Yep. These need replacement. The river in the wintertime gets so powerful that it's able to rip that because it was rotten. Probably got hit by rocks. See how the bottom's all rotted out? These are very old culverts. And you see the rubber in there to help it from rusting. It's worn off the bottom because in the wintertime, when you have rocks tumbling through this, it's like sandpaper wearing it down. That's why, look, it's shiny. All right. And because of this hole, you see all the water's getting in here? That's what's causing the sinkhole. Some of the water is avoiding the culvert. And we do have a bit of a clog here. I know that one big piece in the middle, it's waterlogged. I wouldn't be able to move that. Plus it's flagged. I bet they're replacing both of these. Kind of unusual to do this. Usually they'd put a bridge here. So you can tell in the spring thaw a lot happens here. But anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if they packed between these completely with rocks, not much dirt. That's why water's getting between them, and that's why the sinkhole's up there. Even driving over that could be dangerous because that sinkhole might spread more than it's showing. But I'm not worried about that if the big log trucks make it across, because some of the trucks up here can weigh up to 90,000 pounds or more because these are private logging roads. they don't have to stick to the 8-foot wide limit. They have double wide trailers. They're huge. You got to get way out of the way for them. They weigh a ton. And obviously those are making it over. But then again, they haven't been through here because they would have knocked that thing in the middle down. Most of those are only used on the main arteries. And this is causing a lot of damage too. You see how it's going around this corner? Eventually it's going to move over here. And they don't have much of a buffer here. What do we got up around the bend? Definitely a lot of footprints from something. Probably moose. Something's been walking in there. Yeah, the whole riverbed's full of debris. This is actually a really nice stream. On a hot day, that would be a nice hike, just hiking up. Got a small culvert here, which I don't really understand. I think they could have diverted it over here, but maybe they were thinking when that one's at capacity, they don't want the drainage ditch filling up with water. Brand new culvert here. You can tell by the fill they put over it. Very recent. Look how shiny it is. See how it's all dented? Idiot with an excavator. Too lazy to get out and do it by hand. Look at this clog here. I'm gonna remove that in like a minute. How'd I do? 1 minute, 17 seconds. Wow. That was actually clogged because of the loggers. See these trees? They went here with a machine on the end of their excavator, cutting the trees back, not watching where they were falling. These are still attached. That's why I can't move it any more than this. But look at it now. Had that big pile of slurry, which is slowly moving through the pipe. The next storm will take the rest of this loose stuff. Get all that up on top. But look what we got in here on the ceiling. That's what happens. A frost heave will go the path of least resistance. Instead of making a bump in the road, it pushed down into the culvert. No big deal, but that's because they didn't use the proper fill. The fill they put on top of it retains a lot of water. So when it freezes, it expands. That's why down there, see all those dents? They could have just put the culvert in all banged up, but that looks like a frost heave to me on the ceiling. See this big pile? I could leave that there. Eventually it'll build pressure and go through. But honestly, it's kind of fun pushing it. And maybe. Is it gonna move? It'll slowly move its way out of here. Oh, there it goes. See, it's slowly moving as it builds pressure. I'll give it a kick all the way through. Why not? Whoa, there's barely any headroom underneath that frost heave. Here it comes. This would have been so much easier and more fun if we had more water current. But it looks like this year we'll have another drought. Not much water around, even though it's raining. Just found another jam. I noticed all the debris on this side. I didn't actually see the clog, but that's telling me something's probably on the other side because that had to pass through it. See how it's all dark? There's a lot of rotten wood in this. Darkness like that can also be caused by leeches. Not that big of a pipe. There's a little bit blocking it. See how I'm sinking? That's all sediment. If I move that little bit of debris, it'll erode this back down to its normal operating depth. Yeah, this is so much more slippery than I thought it would be. There's so much silt being left by the small clog. It's also kind of stinky, some of that rotten material there. But now, everything built behind it is free. All that sediment can now erode through the pipe. I better get some of this immediate stuff out of the way because it's just going to get plugged there the next storm. How much do we have on this side? Yeah, we got that flowing a lot better. That'll start running clean in a few minutes because there's not much being held up here. All right, that water's real nasty. All cleaned, and it eroded what it's going to erode. The rest of this mud here will probably get taken the next storm. That's a pretty big riverbed, but to my surprise, the pipe is pretty small under this road. And from above, I can't see anything wrong. But there's actually a pretty substantial blockage here. Now this culvert will last basically forever. That's a cast iron culvert, and by the looks of it, probably a 1/2 inch thick. It'll last forever. It's probably been there forever. Those are the best kind, and for the money's worth, it'll last forever. See that blockage? I'm gonna remove that, and all this standing water, that's like a foot, it's all gonna drop back, well, to that point. That's like a separate dam holding that pool. That won't go away. But the immediate thing will, because that's blocking probably 30% of its capacity. So simple, that one. All gone. Couple sticks blocking it. And that pipe doesn't have ribs like a regular modern metal one. That one is strong just by being thick. So it's perfectly smooth. Everything I was able to just let it pass. All that junk in the way is they're not watching where their trimmings are going when they trim the road. And now, like any dam, it's going to build sediment. Within a few minutes, the sediment will be gone. That's it. All clear. And that's like a kind of an unusual sized culvert. Doesn't look standard. It's like 2.5 feet. And the other side, temporarily, it's flowing a little bit higher. That culvert being smooth, it can actually handle more than a equal-sized corrugated culvert, because the corrugation slows it down. So you can get more through a smaller pipe, it being so smooth. And if they put an angled opening, that would allow even more. But I don't see any evidence of erosion on the top. So that means it's obviously able to handle the spring thaw. All right, here's an older corrugated pipe. See, there's barely any flow in that riverbed, but the whole drainage ditch on the other side is full. And this is something new I've been doing just this year before draining stuff like this. Actually, this puddle is unaffected because you see the ground here. This won't leave. But I always check now in the spring for tree frog eggs. And if there are any, I don't unclog it. So this is what would be draining. Don't see any tree frog eggs. It is summer, so most of them would be hatched into tadpoles and eaten by the frogs, other frogs by now, or birds. So this is the end of that pipe. Is there any kind of blockage there? Oh, that's messed up. I'm not going to unclog that because I'll only make it worse. As you can see, this is the bottom of the pipe. But why is there a trickle over there? See how the bottom is all rotted out? It's flowing beneath the culvert. And opening it up will just accelerate whatever possible sinkhole might be under here now. That's exactly what it's doing. They probably installed it with a lot of gravel around it. Hopefully they did. It can run like this for a pretty long time before needing replacement. But if it's packed with what I'm seeing above here, that'll wash out pretty quickly. Get a moderate rain. This entire road here needs to be raised because during the spring thaw, this area goes underwater. You can see in the spring there would be a big flow of debris. That's what all this broken pieces of tree is. And that will get sent across the street here. And you see it wrapped around the trees. This all goes underwater. But you see they put bigger rocks here to make it a water crossing. But it's supposed to be going down here. You see all the culverts are higher up the hill. If they were down there, that would work best. But that would be relocating the stream. They just need to build it up. Now these culverts are awesome. Heavy cast iron culverts. Maybe repurposed from something else. So I'm wondering what that cap is. Now these can be slippery because they're smooth. No blockage. Oh, there's only one of them. I thought there would have been more than one. That explains why it washes out. Oh, this is an interesting one. You got holes here. This thing definitely used to be something else. Could have been a water main. Some people have told me it looks like it could have been part of an old steam train. No, it does not. Definitely not that. But you see there's holes here. Right here, there was a hole. And you see they sealed it shut to make a culvert out of it. And this has been here a while. You see the pitting? This culvert will last a very long time. It's so thick. It's kind of slippery too. Now look up here. See that? Some kind of braces. And this right here looks like a big fill cap. You got a fill cap here. This right here in the center is where they would have been two of them. This looks like an opening someone cut to climb down inside here. This looks like a vent. That may have been a fill cap. Something like that. I could be wrong. But this might be a giant, reused gas station tank. It's possible. That's what it looks like to me. I've done jobs like that. Or I've been around to watch jobs like that be performed. So this would have been how they got into the tank before they cut the ends of it off. They probably crawled down inside of it because you have to clean it out and wipe it. This may have been a fuel tank. It's possible. Very possible. You see, the end was definitely chopped. That is one thick tank. That would have been from like the 40s. Nothing modern, I don't think, would be. Maybe a commercial one, like I said, from a gas station. I'm thinking more residential. I've never seen commercial ones get taken out of the ground or installed. That might be a commercial gas station tank with the ends of it gone. That's what it looks like to me. That big opening you saw towards the side, inside, that would have been the top. So this thing is like almost upside down. I don't know, what do you think? Coming up to this, I thought it was a bridge because the way they have it marked, but it's not. As far as I could see, it looks like an aluminum culvert, and that would be why it's all messed up, because aluminum is soft. It obviously has to be very deep in the ground to be sustainable. Is it aluminum like I thought? Yep. That's an aluminum culvert, which will basically last forever, but you have to bury it deep. And they're also fragile as far as if you have rocks tumbling and hitting it, they bend really easy. Trucks crush them really easy, as you can see. That's an aluminum culvert. Those are more expensive than a metal one, but they last longer if they're buried deep enough. This one isn't buried deep enough, so look what happened. Let's see how many dents it has Yeah, look down there, how it's all crumpled, just a big mess. And you can see that has to handle a lot of water. Currently, it's not gonna wash out, it's still handling, it's just a obstruction in the road. Yeah, see? It didn't just get crushed. It looks like it was crushed when they put it in, because this rock is what's doing it, mostly. And you see that bow in there? It looks like the ground was soft, and a truck here, like, pushed it in through the side. You don't usually see it breaking that way. Just had to step out to evaluate this. I think I can get over that without an issue. Just worried about bottoming out. If I go over there, I think I'll be fine. Yeah, on a road like this, do not ever trust Google Maps. I just had to back up down that road for, like, not too bad, like 5 minutes. But if someone would have came up behind me, I would have been kind of trapped. They have a gate down there that's shut. When just a few hundred feet up this road, there's a sign saying where I want to go, and it's pointing down here. At least they should be responsible enough to put a sign telling you the road is closed. A lot of these companies, they'll put a sign that says washout 2 miles ahead so that you don't go down there. Yeah, on these roads, you can't trust a GPS, you can't trust Google Maps, you can't trust any of that stuff, because these roads change so much. They're constantly moving the roads, they're constantly closing them, not maintaining them. There's washouts everywhere. You just gotta use common sense. If a road is well traveled, it's obviously gonna be open, but if you have more dirt trails, those are the roads that are horrible. I just passed one today. I was successful getting through it, but it was tricky. I had to keep slowing down. There was giant culvert humps in the road. One of them, there was this big rut where the mud was trying to pull me into it, but I made it. One of them, I had to get out, stack some rocks to, like, make a little ramp going over the culvert, because I would have bottomed out on it. Well, it definitely makes you a better driver. These roads are a challenge, and that's actually the fun in it. Now this road, you can tell it's active. They are using it now. Not worried about running into trouble. We got a friendly moose today. Look at this guy. Or girl. Looks like a baby one. Just turned around to see it. See that car in the distance? When it went by, it ran in the woods, but it came right back out. Pretty friendly. Yep. Oh. See the moose. Being skittish. That's it for today. Gonna flip around. There it is. Is it gonna cross? I think it wants to cross. It doesn't know what it's doing. I think it just wants to hang out on the side of the road and eat the grass. But at least it has enough common sense that when a car goes by, it runs in the woods. Well, this is how I spent this super rainy, only 45-degree Memorial Day. It was pretty fun. It's really enjoyable being out in this rainy, foggy weather. And you hear that? My windshield wipers are a little squeaky, but that can go away right now. Spraying a little bit of Rain-X windshield fluid. Makes the squeak go away for a while.